We've got over 500 vehicle tests on this channel, and almost all of them have headlight tests, so if you want to see how the lights on your vehicle work, this is the right place to be. Subaru sent us their 4-door hot rod WRX with the TR package, means tuner ready. $42,000 worth of car here, very nice looking. We did a full road test on this with the fuel economy performance figures on a separate YouTube video, but here we're doing night driving headlight test only. If you want to see the other video, I'll link for that at the end of this video. So let's take these headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. Like I said in the other video, these headlights look an awful lot like the ones I had in the Toyota Cross. In Subaru and Toyota exchanged a lot of parts on some vehicles, and if these are from the Toyota Cross, I don't think I'm going to be very impressed. We'll find out soon enough. It's dark enough, let's take a look at these lights. Got the low beams on at the moment. One giant bulb. Now we jump to the high beam, still one giant bulb. Well, medium-sized bulb, as the case may be. Here's what the tail lights look like. Now the emergency flashers. Got some flashing on the mirrors here. Can barely see them from the front. Pretty bright on the front, being drowned out by the headlights. Alright, headlights off. Much better. Not the brightest in the rear I've ever seen, but more than adequate. Let's take a look inside. Info screen lights up pretty good, as do all the steering wheel controls. Nice gauge cluster. And just lowered everything to a smaller wattage so we don't get blinded here. Even though we have a big screen, not so big when we're looking at the camera system. But then again, how big do you want it, right? If you watch my videos, I cannot stand auto-dimming mirrors unless they have a disconnect switch. I do not want to drive in heavy city traffic with blacked out lights. It's not safe. Here we have a very simple mechanical on-off, the way I like it. One thing I don't like about this vehicle is something I don't like about any vehicles nowadays. You disconnect some of the safety nannies and you get all these lights on the gauge cluster telling you that they're not operating, which is fine if they're a different color than a check engine light. For some reason they make it orange or yellow, which is supposed to be a serious light. I don't like looking at this, and I solved the problem by putting a piece of tape in front of the little light there, which is why now you can't see it. Why I can't see it. Black electrical tape does wonders, doesn't it? And that, my friends, is how you solve that problem. See? Gone. There, gone. We don't have access to our wall at the moment, so we're going to do our 33-yard headlight test here. High beam more than adequate, but very, very low, especially on the left with some weird dark spots. Not very encouraging. I don't mind if it's low as long as you see something on the top half, but you can't see anything here. Now we're at 400 feet, and it takes around half this distance to stop a vehicle on freeway speeds at 75 miles per hour. 175, 200 feet on average. So if your high beam's on, you won't be overdriving your headlight. But go to low beam. On the right, you just barely see the curb. On the left, we're losing a lot of distance here, and these weird dark spots. You don't want to drive like this on the freeway, not on low beam. You just don't have enough light. And again, the two weird dark blotches. I stated earlier that these headlights look exactly like the ones I had in the Toyota Cross, and Toyota and Subaru do exchange parts occasionally. And this is about the same performance I got on the Toyota Cross last week, so I wasn't very impressed then. I'm not very impressed now. These headlights need to be elevated in order to be functional at this point, on low beam anyway. However, there is another feature we haven't shown you yet. This car does have active headlights. That means the headlights swivel in the same direction you're turning the steering wheel. If you turn it on in the infotainment system, if you don't, you won't have it. Comes in handy when taking corners, on curves like we're going to do a little bit later. So stay tuned. The best way to evaluate headlights is to go out in the sticks. Here I've got the high beams on. You can see far away. Go to low beam. Got a bunch of cutoff here, as we can see and saw earlier, but it does a decent job of lighting up the road signs down the way if you're on level ground. High beam, low beam. It's on tight curves like this where the active headlights demonstrate the best performance. Every time I'm turning the steering wheel in the corner, the headlights are turning with it. If you follow the little black spots on the pavement, you can follow the lights turning, which comes in handy because there's a lot of wildlife out here, mainly deer, some bears. And as a bonus, the active headlights not only work on low beam, but on high beam. On some vehicles, the active headlights don't work on the high beam setting, but not a problem here. So I think we'll leave it on high beam to get maximum illumination. I get emails from people telling me they have a Subaru and getting these little dark spots that I think is coming out on camera. It bothers some people, but it's no big deal really. I don't know why they're there. Maybe it has something to do with the shape of the headlight. It's no big deal really, just get used to it. Just a piece of advice, try not to damage the active headlight system because they're very, very expensive to replace. On most vehicles, you're talking about a couple $1,000 for each headlight. So take good care of them. Your pocketbook will appreciate it. Ooh, almost hit an owl out there. Don't want to do that. Got the high beams on, low beams. Even though there's a lot of cutoff, I can still see the signs. And that's going to conclude our night drive. That includes our headlight test and night drive, and obviously the way these lights are, unacceptable in my opinion on low beam. You'll need to have a mechanic adjust the height. I'm assuming these are factory specs. And are you glad you watched? Because you wouldn't know this. And if you want to see the full road test we did with fuel economy numbers and performance, here's the road test link coming up. Just click and watch.